Okay, so this is my first video since I started this channel. I was recently watching Bill O'Reilly and felt the need to post a video about something. And this sort of concerns the mosque that they're building out in New York, right next to the World Trade Center. It's the Muslim Center. Forgive me, there's a pretty sweet thunderstorm going on, but I didn't want to bother my roommates with this video recording. But anyway, they're planning on building a mosque in New York City, or Muslim Center, next to the Trade Center towers. And they are saying it's going to be built as a way of showing that Muslims have respect for what happened during the 9/11 attacks and all that. And the reason I'm getting upset is not because of the building of the mosque. In fact, I'm very pro letting them build that mosque. The thing that bothered me was that Bill O'Reilly had Muslim woman from the Canadian Muslim Congress or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And she was trying to argue that it wouldn't create dialogue, and she was opposed to it, and all that. And while I respect her opinion, I kind of wanted to give my own 2 cents on the whole mosque next to the Twin Tower sites sort of situation. Basically, the one thing that bugs me the most about it is that it seems like people keep on tying Muslims to the attacks of 9/11. But I would not make that connection any more than I would make the connection between the KKK and Christians. The Muslims that attacked us on 9/11 were a very fringe group of very radical Muslims, and they did not represent the majority of Muslims. So building a Muslim center does not necessarily say that it's not really an affront to the Twin Towers disaster, because the Twin Towers were caused by maniacs, or I guess I shouldn't say maniacs, because I to some degree understand the situations in which these people get indoctrinated into. A lot of times they're undereducated or not educated at all, and they get talked into these things by these terrorist leaders. Especially in Afghanistan and Iraq, it's poor people blowing themselves up for rich people that are paying them to do that, or paying their relatives basically to do that. So I wouldn't even necessarily call them maniacs, because I could almost understand why they were indoctrinated into doing that. But the one thing that is key is that it wasn't the Muslim faith that attacked us on 9/11. It was fringe elements of the Muslim faith. Very, very radical groups that many Muslims would argue misunderstand the teachings of the Quran, and we're not in any way connected to the whole of the Muslim community, I guess. The other reason that I support the building of the Muslim Center is this is the United States of America. If they bought or leased that space and they want to develop on it, they should be able to. As long as they aren't interfering in anybody else's rights around them, which they aren't. They may offend people, but that's not interfering with their rights. Then they should have every reason or every permission to do whatever they want on that plot of land. And it kind of bothered me that this woman on Bill O'Reilly was arguing that we should try to avoid confrontation in this situation, that building a Muslim center right next to the Twin Towers would create too much conflict. And in the end, I would argue conflict is good as long as it's dialogue. I mean, if people aren't killing each other, then having people like discuss things or even protest and counter-protest is better in the long run, because there is a bit of a misunderstanding about the Muslim faith, and it's not going to be fixed by not talking about it. And building this Muslim center right next to the Twin Towers will bring together, hopefully, the two groups of people that disagree with each other the most. And that's the people that think that Muslims are what caused 9/11, and people who will defend the Muslim faith against those that actually caused the 9/11 attacks. And it may not create a dialogue that's friendly, but it's a dialogue we should have. And more importantly, we have freedom of speech, and they own the property. They should be able to do whatever they want with it. So that's my 2 cents. I kind of wish, or I kind of hope that the Muslim woman that was on Bill O'Reilly today reconsiders her opinion, because I understand completely where she's coming from, but I think it would be better if, now that we've had this debate, for the Muslim Center just to be built, and we will have the dialogue that needs to be had about this. Because if we prevent it from being built, if we bully them out of the World Trade Center area, then the dialogue will be kept quiet even longer. Right now we're saying they shouldn't be there, and they have every right to be there. And we need to discuss why. So, sorry, this video is kind of haphazard, but I haven't really decided on a format, and I'm kind of speaking irregularly. I haven't really decided how often I'm going to do this or what I'm going to do it about, but this was something I felt like I had to make a video about. So, thanks for your time.